So here is the important concept which we can expect in exam, that is structure of C. So C program is a collection of functions and C program follows syntax and semantics. So here we have the three parts, that is documentation section, preprocessor commands, global declarations. So these three parts comes under the structure of C. So first one we have the documentation section. So in this documentation section, it allows the user to write the comment lines. So comment lines are ignored by the compiler. So we know we use the compiler to convert the high level programming language into the machine level language. So it allows the user to write comment lines in C. So comment lines are not mandatory, those are optional. So it depends on the user. We can write any number of comment lines at anywhere in a C program. So we can write a number of comment lines and we can write it anywhere in the program. So comment lines are used to increase readability of the user. So these are the ignored by compiler, and by using these comment lines, it increases the readability of the user. So user can understand it more clearly when we use the comment lines. So C supports two types of comment lines. So we have the two types of comment lines. First one is single comment lines and multiple comment line. So in single comment line we use it two forward slashes, and in multiple comment line we use one forward slash with asterisk, and in between these we write the some statement. So these comment lines are ignored by the compiler. So these are the two types of the comment lines. Single line comment line. So it is used to write a comment line in a single line. So the syntax is to forward slash and I'm writing the comment here. So for example, if we take the printf and open brace and within the double quotes I am writing the hello. So I want to get hello as in output. Now this every statement is ended with the semicolon. And the next, so for the user, he don't know what is mean by printf. So I am writing the definition of the printf in the comment line. So to forward slash, printf is a output function. So this printf is a output function. This statement is a single statement. So I am using the single comment line. And the next second one is multiple comment line. So it allows the user to write comments in multiple lines. So for example, I want to write some matter which is of 2 to 3 lines. So for that I have to use the multiple comment line. So the syntax is forward slash asterisk, and I am writing the comments in this, and which is ended with the asterisk and then the slash. So for example, if we take A is equals to 3.14 into R. So 3.14 into R square. So which is the area of the circle. So A is equals to 3.14 into R. So the user don't know what is mean by A. So A nothing but is a area of circle, R nothing but radius of circle. So here after ending this statement, I am writing two statements here. One is A and R. So which I want to write in the two lines. So I can't use the comment, single comment line. So for that I am using the multiple comment line. So forward slash asterisk, and within this I am writing the comments here. So A is area of circle and R is radius of circle. So now ended with the asterisk and the forward slash. And the second example is main. So main, this is also ended with the semicolon, and main is a function. So I am writing within the multiple comment line. So this is the syntax of the multiple comment line. So this is all about the documentation section. So in this documentation section we write the comments. So then the next one is preprocessor commands. So in this preprocessor commands, hash is a preprocessor sign and include is a preprocessor command. So we use to include some of the header files, we use hash include stdio.h and hash include math.h. So these are some header files. So in that header files we use hash include. So hash is nothing but it is a preprocessor sign, whereas include nothing but it is a preprocessor command. Then Preprocessor commands are used to instruct the compiler to include given header file into a C program. So as I told you, hash include stdio.h, math.h. So these are the predefined header files. So we are instructing the compiler to include those header files. So that's why we are using hash include and followed by the header file like stdio.h, math.h and etc. So before execution only we have to include the header files. So this is about the preprocessor commands. So for this we have the syntax, that is hash include and header file name. So header file name we include. So example like hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h and hash include math.h, and we have some predefined header files. So the first one is stdio.h. So stdio, it is a standard input output header file. So stdio nothing but it is called as a standard input output header file. It is a predefined file which contains standard or built-in libraries. It has some libraries. It is a stdio.h, it is a predefined file and it has some standard or the predefined or the built-in libraries. So for example, input and output functions. So all the input and output functions like printf, scanf and putchar, getchar, puts, gets and all these input and output functions are predefined in the stdio.h header file. The second one is conio.h. So conio, it is a console input output header file. So it also have some predefined libraries and it has functions like a clear screen, that is CLR, SCR. And so here in the diagrammatic way if you see, so hash include stdio.h, the first one. So this is a preprocessor command and stdio.h. In this header file we have some predefined libraries, nothing but predefined functions like printf, scanf, putchar and getchar and etc. And the second one is math.h. In this math.h we have the square root function, POW, nothing but the power, and sine, cos, tan, etc. So these all are defined in the math.h. And then third, finally we have the conio.h. So in this also we have some built-in libraries like clear script, CLR, SCR. So this is all about the preprocessor commands. So this is about the header files, including header files. We are instructing the compiler to include the header files before execution only. This is about the preprocessor. So the final one we have the global declarations. So it allows the user to declare data as a global. Now this global declaration, so global data we are writing outside of the all functions. So we can declare data outside of all functions and global data can be accessed by all functions in a program. So in program it does not contain only one function, it has the many functions. So this global data, it can be accessed by all the functions which are present in the program. Whereas local data can be declared inside of a function. So inside of function we are declaring some data that is called as the local data, and it can be accessed by only that function. So all other functions cannot be accessed and that function only can access the local data. That is called as the local data. And for example, if we see roll number is equals to 123. So roll number is a variable and this 123 is a value and ended with the semicolon. So this is a global data. So here we have the some functions like mean, exam and placement. So we have the three functions here. So in these three functions we are writing this, we are declaring this variable outside of these functions. So every time the C program starts with the main function. Now this rule number equal to 123. This data can be accessed by the main. This can also be accessed by the exam. This can also be accessed by the placement. Because I am declaring this variable, I am writing this statement outside of all these functions. So whereas marks is equals to 100. So I am writing this this data I have written in the placement function. So only this placement, this function only can access this statement. So this marks equal to 100. This data cannot be accessed by the exam. It also cannot be accessed by the main function. So this is difference between the global data and the local data. So local data, it is declared inside one function and this can be accessed by only the function, whereas the global data can be accessed by n number of functions. It can be accessed by the any function. So each function contain the self contained blocks. So in this block of statements we write the statements here. So this is about the global declarations. So this is all about the structure of C. We have the three parts: documentation section and preprocessor, and then next the global declarations.